out your greenhouse sheds and pathways. So greenhouse and sheds really. Tip number 4. So you want to clear out any of the plants that are died off, if you like. My tomato plants are going over. They haven't got a lot of fruit left on them, so I'm going to cut the fruit off that's left, ripen them inside in the house on the windowsill, and then remove all the plants, the pots and everything. And anything else that is growing in the greenhouse that I don't want to keep over winter, I'll remove and compost. Give it all a good sweep out. Now, I don't know if I'm alone in this one, but I leave the spider's webs in. So they're usually up in the ceiling, around the top, and they just keep the pests down over the winter. And they're not doing any harm. They're not going to hurt the plants at all. So I just leave them in. I just sweep the floor, sweep the shelves off that I've got around, and I'll be having a little rejig anyway in my greenhouse. So I'm just going to give everything a good old clean up and dust off. And yeah, and if anything needs disinfecting, like flower pots, tools, anything like that, I would be doing that as well. Because flower pots, they can carry disease, especially if you use them this year and you want to be using them next year, if they're like, you know, plastic pots and things you want to reuse. Give them a clean out, give them a disinfect, soapy water, a bit of disinfectant, give them a gold wash off and then leave them to dry before you store them over winter. And then they're ready to go in the spring, straight away. So they're clean, like disease-free, all ready to go. So I do this with my tools as well, and I give my tools a good old sharpen as well, my secateurs and loppers and things like that. Give them a good old sharpen, because when you come to the winter pruning in a minute, which you'll need to do, you don't want to be passing it any like disease or bacteria that they've built up if you haven't cleaned them onto your winter cuttings and pruning, and then the plants have got all winter to then suffer through its disease for the spring when you might have a dead plant on your hands or like a limb falling off or something. So give them a clean up. If you've got any shade paint, if you've used shade spray or anything in the greenhouse, like to shade areas, a good time to wash that off as well.